Ladies and gentlemen, it just continues. It just keeps on going. Jerry Jeudy traded to the Cleveland Browns. And if that sounds familiar, it might be because Denver tried to trade Jerry Jeudy to Cleveland ahead of last season's trade deadline. The Browns reportedly attempted to acquire Jerry Jeudy, and Denver decided to stick with them. So before we get into the trade itself, I kind of want to touch on the fact that Sean Payton, when he took this job, his whole entire thing was, can he fix Russ? And I think in order for Sean to know if he could fix Russ or not, he needed Russ to have all of the possible weapons at his disposal. So Jerry Jeudy was not for sale. Cortland Sutton not for sale. Um, because hey, let's see if we can get him all the help we can get if Russ is fixable. But once we found out Russ wasn't fixable, we no longer had to kind of ride with these players, especially with people like Jerry Jeudy coming up on a contract season where they're going to expect to get paid. In Denver, also coming off of a terrible cap situation with releasing Russell Wilson. Denver needed by the new league new year, which is when this trade will go into effect, they needed to get under a certain cap amount. So that's how the NFL does. They give you a date and they're like, this is the cap. You need to be under this number by this date. Then they'll give you another. And they do the same thing with the roster until it finally gets trickled down to where the salary cap is and 52 people on the roster. So now that we know that we're not going with Russ, a lot of these decisions have been that we've been seeing. Justin Simmons, probably the most untouchable fan favorite player on the team. He gets released. You see Cortland Sutton posting messages on his Twitter that he's, I guess, confused or he doesn't know if he is going to stay in Denver. Jerry Jeudy gone. We also saw Chris Miners get his contract adjusted along with Mike McGlinchey, who isn't going to really take a pay cut. He's just going to get more money on it's accounting. It's just accounting BS. But Denver's really going through all these players right now, and they finally right now are underneath the cap. They're underneath where they need to be at by next week's new league start date when the trade will go into effect. So the Broncos that Sean Payton inherited is gone now. Okay. We did the 1 year, I guess you call it a sample year or try it, but Justin Simmons, Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, three staples of this team, three of the probably top five most known players on the team, all gone within a matter of weeks. Jerry Jeudy was traded to the Cleveland Browns. It won't go into effect, like I said, until the new year, but nobody has come out and poured cold water on this breaking news. So what the deal was a 5th and a 6th round pick for Jerry Jeudy. Obviously, if you're a Broncos fan, and this is why I don't come out with my immediate reaction all the time. Sometimes I just need some time to sit and think about it because, of course, it feels really crappy in a way. When you look at it from the perspective that Jerry Jeudy was a first-round draft pick, 15th overall, it sucks because he never panned out. I mean, CeeDee Lamb was drafted after Jerry Jeudy. Justin Jefferson drafted after Jerry Jeudy. So the expectations for Jerry Jeudy, no, he never even had 1,000-yard season. And you could look at the quarterback position and say, well, is that why? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Jerry Jeudy also, there's a couple areas of his game where he is exceptional. Getting separation is a huge part of his game. However, Denver does design a lot of screens for him, so that might be a little bit over inflation with the amount of separations Jeudy has per catch. But the point is Jerry Jeudy is extremely twitchy. He's extremely efficient in open space. And when we drafted him, you would still see glimpses of what made him drafted so highly, even though he was not performing at a high enough level to suffice drafting him 15th overall. You would still see glimpses of that in there, and you just wonder if Stefanski is going to be able to tap into that a little bit more, and more to come with that in a little bit. So it does feel like a bummer only getting a fifth and a sixth for a guy that in recent memory was one of our last first round picks that we've had. And not only does he not pan out, but we don't get the same value. And like I was saying when I first started this video, we would have gotten more value from him had we have traded him before the trade deadline last season, or even in the off season 2 seasons ago. We could have gotten at least a third for Jerry Jeudy, but Sean had to see this thing through. He had to keep all the weapons on to see what Russ was. You can't take away somebody's weapons and then try to assess if they have it or they don't. So I think Sean in his head was already like, okay, we're going to lose, 2 rounds of value by sticking it through with Jerry Jeudy. But those 2 round pick differences are worth knowing what we have at quarterback. I'm willing to I'm willing to have a 3rd round pick get devalued to a 5th round pick as long as we know for sure if Russ is or isn't the guy. I think that's the decision that was made, and here we are. So, yeah, in hindsight, it does suck. He didn't pan out. He didn't have 1,000-yard seasons. He never really appeared to be elite. And we didn't even get a 3rd-round pick back for him. We got a 5th and a 6th, which equate to a 4th-round pick. So only about 1 round worse than what we would have gotten if we'd got him last year or got rid of him last year. Here's another thing. Sean Payton in his press conferences, like after the season, the kind of the State of the Union, if you will, he talked about how he underutilized Marvin Mims. And when you look at Marvin Mims, I mean, even at the Pro Bowl, he was balling out. I don't know if you saw all the footballs that he was catching. He also led the NFL in punt return average last season as a rookie out of Oklahoma. He was a player that we really liked, and he kind of slid down the draft board. And he made it to the Pro Bowl his first season. And Sean took a lot of heat for underutilizing him in the offense, but a lot of that was because Jerry Jeudy was that wide receiver. Now with Jerry Jeudy being gone, I think Denver is ready to give Marvin Mims a higher workload and to really tap into what his potential may or may not be. But I think the upside for Marvin Mims is very obvious when you watch him. He's fast. He's good in open space. He is, when you watch him, he's one of those players where football just comes natural to him. The way he moves, the way he is instinctual, he just understands it. Like you've played with these people. Like there's only 1 or 2 of them, maybe you ever play with, but you just know that they're just playing at a higher level. It's coming way easier to them than it is everybody else. Marvin Mims is that type of a football player. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what he could do with a higher workload. And I do expect he's the one that's going to be stepping up to fulfill the role. Mims could be the first 1,000-yard receiver since Cortland Sutton did it before his MCL surgery. So yes, you're a little upset with the value that you're getting and the fact that Jerry Jeudy didn't work out, but the more you kind of go through all these emotions. It's like, okay, we don't have to pay Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy was causing drama, um, in the building that wasn't being disclosed. Um, yeah, like you have your fun drama, like the Stephen A. Smith calling Jerry Jeudy a jag, just a guy, and all that was going on pregame. That's like the fun, crazy. But there was also some more serious allegations with him and his, pregnant girlfriend, and um, just not good stuff. So why I like this trade is because I don't feel like we lost an some insurmountable value. Like, look, I like the Jerry Jeudy pick. It didn't work out. It is what it is. We can move on. We don't have to make a second big mistake and pay him. Second off, Sean Payton is creating his team right now, and I guess the people that would be more susceptible to not being indoctrinated would be the highest valued picks that were drafted pre Sean Payton. So guys like Jerry Jeudy and Russell Wilson, these are the guys that it's going to be the hardest to break through. Your Marvin Mims, um, the guys that you drafted, and then the guys that are third, fourth, fifth round picks. Those guys will play for anybody, and most of the time, in most cases, you'll find that those players will run through a wall for anybody just to stay in the NFL. But these higher status players, Sean Payton is getting rid of right now, and I think that's just part of him building his own culture here. But anyway, talking about Jerry Jeudy, I think this is going to be really great for him because I'm getting to the age now where I talk about the NFL players as young men. I legitimately have hit that age. And they are, they're kids. And I look at Jerry Jeudy, and I've always been a big fan. I have his jersey right here next to me. It's the thumbnail to this video. Growing up in South Florida, Jerry Jeudy went to high school in South Florida, went to Deerfield Beach High School. Like, I've always been a big fan. That's why the jersey that I have from him is I'll just grab it. It's his Deerfield Beach High School jersey. It's not, I've been accused of having a Chiefs Jerry Jeudy jersey. No, not the case. Would never have such a thing. But I've always liked Jerry Jeudy. He's a person that I've always cheered for. So moving forward, last year the NFL does the top 100. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Of course, most of you probably have. It's where they rank the 100 top players in the NFL. It normally gets released like 100 through 90, then the next week 90 through 80, then the next week 80, and so on. And you have mostly like quarterbacks in the top 10. Jerry Jeudy, under wide receivers, ranked Amari Cooper the number one wide receiver in the NFL, which might not mean much, but if you understand that Amari Cooper was a big reason that Jerry Jeudy went to Alabama to play for the Crimson Tide, like, Amari Cooper has always been somebody that Jerry Jeudy has looked up to, and Jerry Jeudy has quoted saying that if he wasn't at the Browns or the Raiders or the Raiders, and who is the other team? It was it's California, right? Amari Cooper. Oh, Cowboys. He went to the Cowboys for the year. So Raiders, Cowboys, Cleveland. But yeah, Jerry Jeudy has said if he didn't go to those type of teams, that he would get a lot more credit. And I've always been really high on Amari Cooper. If you guys have been following this podcast, you know that I believe Amari Cooper is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, the best route runner, best hands, consistent. He's a coach on the field. He's going to be probably a head coach in the next 15 years. Amari Cooper is he's everything. And I think if there was one player that I guess could maybe help mentor Jerry Jeudy at this age and this transition, and hey man, you're at a fork in the road. You're a highly drafted first round overall pick. Do you want to be remembered as just a guy, or do you want to be remembered as a Hall of Famer like Amari Cooper, like myself? And Amari Cooper could really make an impression on Jerry Jeudy and get him on the right path. And I think all of that is really exciting. And I hope that that's all that this is Jerry Jeudy just needed guidance. And this is I always have a deep feeling that life is happening for us, not to us. So perhaps I'm alone with that thought, but I tend to think about the why would this be happening for Jerry Jeudy? And the relationship between him and Amari Cooper, I think, is very glaring. Um, so yeah, Jerry Jeudy, not great stats here in Denver. Definitely somebody that didn't really pan out. We have DJ Jones, who we could cut and save $10 million, and we could probably get something like a fourth round pick for Cortland Sutton. Probably a similar value that we got for Jerry Jeudy. So those guys I would expect to be coming up next, as far as who's going to be getting cut and released in the next however long. But keep in mind, the Broncos don't have to make any more moves in a time sensitive manner because they're already under the amount that they need to be at by next Wednesday. So just because the deal doesn't get done, or just because the Broncos don't trade Cortland Sutton before Wednesday, doesn't necessarily mean that Cortland Sutton's going to be a Bronco. It just means that there's no pressure right now to make any more moves, in the same way Simmons and Jeudy in these other deals were having that pressure that hey, we got to get under this amount by Wednesday. Okay, now we're under it. The only one that I'm hearing people from the building say is Will Lutz, our kicker, that there's a good chance that he's going to be the only free agent that gets a deal. And everyone else is either going to have to renegotiate their contract, or Denver is going to be opening the door and letting them walk. So, 1-year agreement with the ownership group. What I'm trying to think. What was that note? I was writing a note and I didn't even know what I was trying to say. Oh, 1-year agreement with the ownership group. But yeah, I guess I could end with that. So I was writing about how when Sean took this job, I'm pretty sure that there was an understanding that, hey, I'm going to try my damnedest to make this team work with the roster currently where it's set at. But if it doesn't work out, it's going to be a lot of cuts. And I think this was always plan B. Like plan A was to get Russ to work out. And now we're in plan B, and Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos are aggressively attacking this whole thing. And you can call it a rebuild. You cannot call it a rebuild, but whatever you call it, the Denver Broncos are going to be taking up an entirely new identity. And essentially, there will be almost nobody on the team that I can think of besides the offensive line, Tim Patrick, who already renegotiated his contract, and Patrick Surtain. Everybody else is, hey, you either got to sign a cheap deal, a linebacker friendly Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton type of contract, or you have to be a rookie in your first 4 years that we drafted. Those are the only like two groups of people we can afford. So how creative will Sean be in the next couple months when he's designing this roster? Every move that he makes is definitely going to be looked at under a microscope, because these are, in a way, they feel like irreplaceable shoes to fill. Not necessarily Jerry Jeudy, in a way, like his quickness, and you're not going to replace somebody that can be as fast twitched as Jerry Jeudy. He's one of the best in the league at just being extremely twitchy and like getting into open space and getting separation. But I'm talking about people like Justin Simmons, like the leader of the locker room. Like who do you bring in to fill those type of shoes? Because right now, Patrick Surtain is the leader of this defense, which is totally cool. I'm a huge fan. Um, but Surtain isn't a very vocal leader. He's more of a do as I do, just like his game and his play speak for themselves. But I think it's also important to have that vocal leader in the locker room. So with Justin Simmons gone, and Jerry Judy's never been, a leader. Not like our leaders have always been trying to guide Jerry Jeudy. It's like the other way around. But with Justin Simmons being gone, that is one of the positions that it's like who's going to fill, and we'll find out. And that's why all the next moves are going to be really interesting. And if you guys are new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Bronco fan, so I cover anytime I hear a big story, I report the news as best I can, and hopefully this channel will continue to grow if we can get more Bronco fans in here. But yeah, Jerry Jeudy traded to the Cleveland Browns for a 5th and a 6th round selection. Jerry Jeudy no longer a Denver Bronco. No 1,000-yard seasons after being drafted 15th overall. And in a way, it sucks that we never got more out of him. And in another way, we're turning the page, looking towards the future, and we don't have to bring a bunch of expensive wide receivers with us. So all in all, I think we'll be all right. I guess my point of optimism is Marvin Mims in the increased role that I expect to see him. That's really what excites me the most, because Marvin Mims, I think he's going to be the real deal. Definitely draft him on your fantasy team, because I could see him being a guy that you could draft almost with like the last round, especially with the quarterback mystery right now. So that's a guy I would keep an eye out for, Marvin Mims. He's everything that he was advertised to be and more. Kind of the opposite of Jerry Jeudy. So if you want to keep up with all this stuff, you can subscribe here to the Kyle Kitzman channel. That's me. And you can also catch me and my buddy Rick on our Only Football podcast. It's the Only Football podcast. And you can check out all of our stuff over there. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this on a Saturday when we're all just trying to enjoy our day off. And Sean Payton's like, nah, we're going to trade Jerry Jeudy. But this will probably be our last big news for a while. Will Lutz likely to get signed in the next couple of days, but I think things are going to slow down here for a little bit. But when it picks back up, or if it doesn't slow back down, you can find all of that right here. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day. See ya.